Why are movies flopping? What went wrong? In my opinion, there's many reasons why movies are flopping. Let's get into it. I don't know if you noticed, but movie studios seem to stop making mid-tier movies around the budget of $4 million and $75 million dollars since the rise of action movies and superhero movies. As an example, the 2008 Iron Man movie that had the budget of $140 million dollars and earned $585 million dollars in the box office. Let's not forget Iron Man was the movie that launched the MCU because it was so successful. Another example, the same year The Dark Knight made on a $180 million budget made $1.1 billion in the box office. These movies showed movie studios if you put money into this type of films, you will make your money back and more. Which brings us to the modern times where companies sink a ton of money into these type of movies. And these movie studios are way too confident in sinking money into these blockbusters, trying to have their own franchise like the MCU universe and the millions they make. But what I think caught movie studios' eyes is the billions Marvel makes and similar franchises. Movie studios seems to be obsessed with making billions these days, which is not realistic. It's just a big risk because most movies don't make billions of dollars. This year, the 100th Fast and Furious movie came out, and the budget for this movie was insane. This movie was made on a budget of $340 million. If you're putting that much money into a movie, I know your goal was to make close to $1 billion because most movies make around as much money as they spend on this movie. Adding what they spend on marketing on top of that, that's a lot of money. So, how can a movie not flop if we're talking about making a profit? Like, if every movie you put out has a budget of millions of dollars sunk into them, how do a movie studio expect to break even or make a profit? Especially when people are very particular on what they spend their money on these days. To be honest, people can just wait until the movie comes out on streaming sites. Which brings me to my next point. Oversaturation. There's so many major movies that came out this year. To name a few, John Wick 4, Creed 3, The Little Mermaid, live action version. And the biggest movie this year, Barbie. The best marketing I've seen this year too. And let's be real, in a while, I could not go on any entertainment medium without seeing an advertisement for the Barbie movie. You can even say it was Barbie's year, because it really felt like it. There was the Barbie makeup collaboration and the Candy Crush collaboration. This spent a pretty coin, okay? And this movie did make $1 billion, which with the money they spent towards the advertising, I say it was worth it, which cost more than the movie itself. They really said no ifs and buts. This movie has to do well, and well, it did. But let's get back on page. My next point is familiarity and loyalty doesn't work as well anymore. Most movies are a remake or a continuation of a never-ending trilogy on the hopes of building a franchise as big as Marvel and Star Wars. And I understand why movie studios do this. Marvel and Star Wars movies franchise brings a ton of money, and because of the familiarity and the audience loyalty. Same things for remakes too. But audience seems to be tired with this type of movies. There's something literally called superhero fatigue. And some people think that Star Wars is a former shelf what they used to be. So, yeah. And these franchises actually make sense because of how many characters and universes they have. And people are not as excited as they used to be for these movies. It seems like, anyways. Mix that with people being conscious of what movie they choose to watch in the movie theaters because movies cost money. You can see this happening with the Marvels and how it isn't doing as well as previous Marvel movies. And company loyalty and familiarity doesn't work as well as it used to. This being the example. Movie flops and why they flopped. Let's talk about some movie flops this year. Not all of them, just 2 movies that came out this year. Number 1, The Little Mermaid. I thought this movie would be more successful than it was because it was anticipated. I mean, it did make this much money, but on a $297 million budget. And remember, this is a Disney movie. I don't even know if that includes the marketing budget. And I think I know the reason why this movie didn't do as well as it should have. And it's because it came out too late, in my opinion. The live action Little Mermaid was announced in 2016. Halle Bailey was casted in 2019. That's 7 years since the announcement of the movie, 4 years since Halle Bailey was announced to be Ariel. If the movie came out in 2021 or 2022, it would have been probably way more successful because when Halle Bailey was announced to be Ariel, there was a lot of eyes on the project. And it came out the same year as Barbie. That's all that really needs to be said. Number 2, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. You're pushing it. You really are pushing it. With a budget of $295 million, with a box office earning of worldwide, meaning they put this movie out and on a worldwide scale, that's how much money it made. This movie can't even break even. They would have to make 4 times what they spent to break even. And you and I know why it didn't do so well. It's because no one really asked for this movie. It came out of nowhere. This franchise doesn't even have enough hype to put a $295 million budget into it. I don't know if that includes the marketing budget. It's like, why did they put so much on this franchise? Anyways, in your opinion, why do you think movies have been flopping these days? Like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.